Hey guys, what's up? It's Ben here. I'm back again today doing another video, and the subject of today's video is going to be on the Los Angeles Lakers, and basically what should their next move be now that they have LeBron and Anthony Davis, and the only other guys on the roster are Mo Wagner, Isaac Bonga, and Kyle Kuzma. So immediately I'm going to get this out of the way. I don't think that the solution to improve their team and to round out a championship caliber team is to trade Kyle Kuzma. I really think that he would be a good fit to stay on this team. I don't think that any sort of Kyle Kuzma plus two first round picks for Bradley Beal. I don't like that idea at all. I think that you can keep Kyle Kuzma. He's so valuable right now on a contract for $2 million. I think you have to keep him. And I think him as a third or fourth option on a championship team is really valuable just for the money he's making right now and how good he is. So I don't think that they should trade him whatsoever. Um, so as for moves or trade, as for basically free agent signings that they can make, because I'm not going to be really looking at trades in this video, I think that the Lakers have a few routes to go, and I think that depending on how they feel about Kuzma's development, they can go two different ways. So I think if they don't feel comfortable with Kuzma as a third option on a championship team, they can try and go for what I would call one of the big dogs, which would be Kyrie, Kemba Walker, Jimmy Butler. I'm gonna exclude Kawhi because he's basically said he doesn't want, if he's going to Los Angeles, it'll be the Clippers. So I'm gonna exclude him. But basically, Kyrie, Kemba, um, Jimmy Butler, D'Angelo Russell, or really the only other huge option I could see as an offensive threat would be Nikola Vucevic. Honestly, I mean, yes, Tobias Harris is an option, but I don't really see them going after him unless it's like their sixth option or a guy like I'm trying to think of a few other ones here, like Al Horford. I don't really see them going after him, or I don't see them going after DeMarcus Cousins either, but maybe they would. But I think for them, it's basically the superstars that they're going to pursue are going to be Kyrie, Kemba, and Jimmy Butler in that order. And I think if they don't get those three guys, they're basically going to go to another route, which is going to be fill it up with perimeter shooting that can help them. So just to review, they've got about $30 million in cap space remaining after this trade to sign guys. So if they go with the pursue a star player thing, they're probably going to ask them to take a slight pay cut, like $27 million, just so that they can sign a few other veterans to like minimums and stuff like that. I think you're technically allowed to sign people to the minimum and go over the cap with that, but they might just want a little extra breathing room. So I think it's pretty clear they'll go after Kyrie first just because of the relationship between him and LeBron, and the position he plays fits really well with what the other guys are playing, and everything would just work out really well spatially with him being a good shooter and stuff. So if they don't go after Kyrie, I think they'll go for Kemba next because he's basically as close to what Kyrie Irving gives you as you can get. He's just slightly worse, but still a really good player. Just basically right there with Kyrie. Um, so I think they go after him next. He brings basically all the same things to the table. He can play off ball, he can play on ball, he can shoot really well. He can basically give you whatever you need in that regard. And then as far as going after Jimmy Butler, yes, I could see that too because he could play shooting guard, and then you could maybe like re-sign somebody like Rondo and have a starting lineup looking like Rondo, Jimmy Butler, LeBron, Kuzma, and Anthony Davis. So I could see something like that. So any of those three I could see basically fitting and working out well. And I think honestly the one I like the best is that you can see my mom right there in the background. So that's a fun little tidbit. But just as who I think would work the best, I honestly think it'd be Jimmy Butler with bringing like Rondo back. Um, just because he can space the floor, and I think he's the best defender, and they really do need some defense on this team, I think. And I think you're going to want really good two-way players come the postseason. I, I don't think that Kyrie's necessarily better than Butler. I think that Butler sort of got forgotten about because he was the number two option on a really crowded Philly team that had basically five guys that could score 15 plus points a night. So he kind of just faded into the background of that team because Joel Embiid was the main man, and he was just kind of trying to be quiet and earn a paycheck and behave well so he could get his max contract offer this next offseason. But I think that he would fit really well with this team, and again, as I say, bring a two-way presence where he can be a really good defender or can be a really good offensive player at the same time. And I think Kyrie and Kemba can bring the really good offense, but just are sometimes liabilities on defense. So for that reason, I like the Jimmy Butler signing the best. Okay, so now I'm going to transition into sort of the second part of this video, which is going to be they could just sign role players part of it. So yes, they have $30 million in cap space. I definitely don't think it's a bad idea to just try and go out and sign a Danny Green, Bogdanovich, and Darren Collison. I think that's a completely fine way to go. Or Trevor Ariza, Bogdanovich, and Brook Lopez. Honestly, the three that I think would do the best for them if they're going to sign 3 role players, or they might have to use this only on 2 guys, but I think if they could convince these 3 guys to join the team, that would be the best case scenario, would be Danny Green, Bogdanovich, and Brook Lopez. If they could get those 3 and then surround LeBron, Kuzma, and AD with those guys, you're starting, and then maybe re-sign like Rondo for a minimum. I don't know if he'd take that, but maybe he would if he was getting the promise of the opportunity of a championship. So let's say they re-sign Rondo and they bring in those 3 guys. Then your starting lineup could look like Rajon Rondo, Danny Green, LeBron, Kuzma, or actually probably LeBron at the 3, AD at the 4, and then Brook Lopez at the 5, and then you'd probably bring off the bench Kuzma and Bogdanovich and Mo Wagner, and that would be your bench. But I think that that's a really good shooting core, and you could have a lineup out there where you would have something like LeBron, Kuzma, Anthony Davis, and then choose between the remaining 2 spots between the 3 of Brook Lopez, Bogdanovich, and Danny Green. And I think you'd have a pretty solid lineup out there of a death lineup of sorts. Let's say you got AD, Kuzma, LeBron, Danny Green, and Bogdanovich. That could go toe-to-toe with any lineup in the league, and I'd feel pretty confident if I were the Lakers. So from that perspective, I really like the role players option, and just in that they would get a lot of good depth. But that's not inherently better than the stars option, like the one max other player option. If they can get a lot of those role players that LeBron used to get on the Heat and the Cavaliers, like if you could bring in a guy like a Brook Lopez for $1 million, then yes, the max free agent option looks good. But I think Brook Lopez is going to want more than that. Or if you can bring in guys that are older and just like looking for championships more so than money. I'm trying to like you could bring in Kyle Korver again. You could, even as bad as it sounds, you could try and bring in like a Carmelo Anthony for a vet's minimum and just see if he can bring you anything just as a bench guy, and just make it clear to him what his role would be on the team and that he wouldn't be looked to as a primary option or anything. He'd be about the 6th option on offense, but just as a little spark off the bench, see if you could get anything out of him. Again, a lot of these other guys like Tyson Chandler, if you could bring him back for a vet's minimum, that'd be great. If you could bring back the Lakers have really handsomely paid Kentavious Caldwell-Pope the past 2 years. I think with the hopes that he would recognize that he kind of got his money those years and that he'd be willing to sign for less this year. So I could easily see him signing back with the Lakers for like $1 million to be a catch and shoot guy for them on the wings. My point of this video is just that the Lakers have a few options here, and they're definitely going to improve based on free agent signings. I don't know if there's necessarily a better option between the Jimmy Butler, Kyrie, Kemba route or the role players route. I personally think I like the role players route just a little bit better, just because we've seen definitely in this last year's playoffs and finals that if you're a team that's built around 3 to 4 guys and one of those guys goes down, you can really be up the river without a paddle. So I think that maybe signing a combination of Brook Lopez, Danny Green, and Bogdanovich would be a really good option for this team, and they would really round out the team well around LeBron, Kuzma, and Anthony Davis and improve them quite a bit. Alright, so with all that out of the way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope that you comment below if you have something important that you want to say or have thoughts on this that you didn't think I covered in the video. I'd love to read through them. Again, I find this trade very interesting in the aftermath of what the Lakers will do next. Very interesting, and I'm excited to see what moves they make and how this will impact the NBA. And I will say this, if they do either of the 3 that I outlined, any of the 2 moves that I outlined, if they sign Kemba or Kyrie or Jimmy, or on the other hand, if they sign just like Danny Green, Bogdanovich, and Brooke Lopez, I think that they will be a championship contender. I will say that now. I think that they will be like a top 3 seed in the West next year. Just based on the Warriors are basically out of it now. Clay and Durant are going to miss basically all of next year. So I think the West is the Lakers if they make a big move and they want it. Okay, so again, hope you guys have a good day. Hope you enjoyed the video and hope to see you next time. Bye.